11th Akaza is remembered as the demon who killed Rengoku. Upper rank 3, a martial artist who can heal almost any wound, read fighting spirit, and turn a punch into disaster. But the most disturbing thing about him is not how strong he became. It is why strength was never enough. Every battle is an argument with his past. When Akaza calls someone weak, he is speaking to the boy he used to be. When he urges a warrior to become a demon, he is trying to prevent the same ending. Someone worthy standing before him, then disappearing forever. This analysis contains major spoilers for Akaza's story in the Infinity Castle arc. Before Akaza, his name was Hakuji. Born into poverty, he cared for a sick father whose medicine they could not afford. Hakuji stole to keep him alive. He was caught, beaten, branded as a criminal, and warned that the punishment would become worse. But if another beating bought his father one more day, he accepted it. This is the first key to understanding him. Hakuji's strength began as service. He did not want power so people would admire him. He wanted enough endurance to carry somebody else's suffering, but his father saw what that love was turning his son into. Believing his illness had become a chain around Hakuji's life, he took his own life and left a message telling him to live honestly. Hakuji had endured punishment, humiliation, and violence, yet none of it saved the person he was fighting for. That loss created the belief that would control him for the rest of his existence. If he had been stronger, perhaps the ending would have changed. His father's death was not proof that Hakuji lacked strength. It came from poverty, illness, shame, and a tragic decision. But grief demands a reason, and when the world offers none, it turns the blame inward. Hakuji began to see weakness as a moral failure. It meant being unable to provide medicine, arriving too late, and loving someone only to watch them vanish. Then Keizo found him. Keizo was a martial arts teacher who defeated Hakuji and offered him something punishment never had, a place where his strength could have purpose. He asked Hakuji to care for his sick daughter, Koyuki. This time Hakuji was not stealing or surviving beatings. He was learning discipline, patience, and the Soryu fighting style. Koyuki gave him a future he no longer believed he deserved. As her health improved, Hakuji's life changed too. Keizo planned to leave him the dojo, and Hakuji and Koyuki would marry. The branded criminal was being trusted with a home and family. Most importantly, Hakuji made a promise to protect them. For a brief time, strength no longer meant refusing to die. It meant helping someone live. Then a rival dojo poisoned the well. Keizo and Koyuki died while Hakuji was away. Once again, the people he loved were gone. Once again, all his endurance had changed nothing. The difference was that this time, grief did not collapse inward, it exploded. Hakuji entered the rival dojo and killed 67 people with his bare hands. This was not Keizo's martial art. It was a promise turned inside out. Hands meant to protect Koyuki became instruments of revenge, and the discipline that rebuilt him destroyed what remained. Muzan transformed him soon afterward, but psychologically Akaza had already been born. The demon forgot Hakuji's faces, promises, and original reason for seeking strength. But forgetting a memory is not escaping it. Akaza's mind lost the story while his body repeated its shape. He kept fighting barehanded with a corrupted version of Keizo's Soryu style. His compass needle spreads like a snowflake, echoing Koyuki, whose name is connected to snow. The technique remained after its meaning disappeared. Even his strange boundaries suggest memory without explanation. Akaza refuses to eat women despite the power demons gain from consuming humans. He cannot explain Koyuki, but some buried part of him still acts as if protecting her matters. He worships strength because it was the last language he spoke before losing everything. Stopping would force him to face a terrifying possibility. Perhaps no amount of power could have saved them. That also explains his hatred of Doma, who consumes women and treats emotion like a performance. Doma represents power without loyalty, appetite without love, and a smile with nothing behind it. Then he meets Rengoku on the surface. Their battle is simple. Akaza sees an exceptional Hashira and wants to preserve his talent by turning him into a demon. Rengoku refuses. They fight and Akaza kills him. Rengoku is strong without fearing weakness. He protects people who cannot repay him and accepts injury, aging, and death. His power moves outward toward others. Akaza circles inward, proving he will never be helpless again. This is why Akaza's offer is desperate. He cannot tolerate watching strength disappear. To him, a gifted human choosing mortality is wasteful. Beneath the arrogance is Hakuji's frightened logic. Become strong enough, and perhaps no one has to leave. Rengoku rejects that logic completely. The value of a human life does not come from lasting forever. It comes from what a person chooses to protect while time is limited. Akaza wins the physical fight, but Rengoku wins the argument. At sunrise, Akaza runs. Tanjiro declares Rengoku the true winner because he protected everyone. Those words strike deeper than Tanjiro's thrown sword. Akaza defines victory as survival, but the dying Rengoku reveals another strength, losing your life without losing your purpose. His blood demon art detects fighting spirit. The stronger an opponent's drive, the more clearly his compass reads it. Akaza understands people through conflict, measuring identity as pressure, hostility, ambition, and the will to dominate. Then, Tanjiro enters the selfless state. By removing his fighting spirit, Tanjiro becomes unreadable to the compass. He does not overpower Akaza's obsession. He steps outside it. Akaza's greatest sense fails against someone who acts without broadcasting ego or murderous intent. This symbolism is devastating. Akaza has built his entire existence around becoming the greatest fighter, but the state he cannot comprehend is one in which the self is quiet. He knows how to answer aggression, he does not know how to answer clarity. Even after Tanjiro cuts off his head, Akaza nearly conquers death. His body begins regenerating what should be impossible to restore. For one moment, his centuries of training seem ready to produce the ultimate victory. He may become a demon who no longer needs his head, a creature whose will to continue is stronger than the rules meant to kill him. Akaza is not finally defeated by a more powerful punch. He is defeated by remembering why he ever wanted power. Koyuki returns in his mind and asks him to stop. The command, buried beneath centuries of violence, finally reaches the surface. His father wanted him to live honestly. Kizo taught him to use his hands with discipline. Koyuki trusted him to protect their future. Akaza realizes that the strength he worshipped has not honored any of them. He had turned Kizo's martial art into slaughter. He had answered his father's sacrifice with centuries of murder. He had treated Koyuki's memory as permission to keep fighting. When the person she loved was not Akaza, upper rank 3, she loved Hakuji. So he makes the first truly human choice he has made in centuries. He stops regenerating. More than that, he turns his own technique against himself. The demon who always moved toward a stronger opponent finally directs his violence at the identity that trapped him. He does not win by surviving. He wins one final moment of agency by refusing to let Muzan's hunger continue using Hakuji's grief. This does not erase what Akaza did. A tragic past explains his cruelty. It does not make his victims less dead. Demon Slayer does not need us to call him innocent. His ending matters because accountability and compassion can exist at the same time. We can condemn the monster while recognizing the wounded human being from whom that monster was built. Akaza goes to hell, but he does not go alone. Koyuki meets him, and Hakuji finally apologizes for failing to keep his promise. The point is not that love magically cancels his crimes. The point is that at the end he remembers the difference between love and possession, protection and domination, strength and fear. Akaza believed weakness was the reason he lost everyone. The truth was more painful. Some losses cannot be defeated. No amount of muscle can bargain with illness, reverse poison already swallowed, or guarantee that the people we love will remain. His obsession with strength was an attempt to turn grief into a problem he could punch. That is why he could never become satisfied. There was always another rank, another technique, another warrior, another century of training. He was trying to win a battle that had ended before he became a demon, and that may be the most human part of Akaza. People often build entire identities around an old wound. We chase achievement to silence shame. We mistake control for safety. We punish weakness in others because it reminds us of the moment we felt powerless. Does power heal pain or only make pain stronger? Hakuji did not need infinite power. He needed to understand that losing someone was not proof that he had failed to love them. His father, Kizo, and Koyuki did not need him to become unbeatable. They needed him to remain the person their love had allowed him to become. In the end, Akaza's greatest victory is also his surrender. He stops trying to defeat the past, remembers his name, and chooses to end the cycle. So was Akaza still human somewhere beneath the demon all along? Or did remembering Koyuki create that humanity again? Tell me what you think in the comments, and subscribe to the Insight Station for more anime psychology.